Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're in RaceRoom Racing Experience and we're checking out a brand new track which has just been released. This is the Nogaro circuit, also known as Circuit Paul Armagnac, and this is in southern France. So not a circuit which appears very often in sim racing, so I'm excited to give it a go and see what it's like to drive. It's got a couple of different variations, so we're going to jump into the sim now and see what track layouts we have available and see how it drives with a variety of different cars. So stay with us, we're going to have some fun. Okay, so here we are in the game and we're looking at three different track layouts available for Nogaro. We have the Corpen circuit, which I think I've pronounced correctly, the club circuit, and of course the full Grand Prix circuit layout as well. Those of you with keener eyesight will notice that there's something wrong with the track lengths for both the Corpen and the Grand Prix circuit, which are both showing 0 meters long, so that could be quite a short lap. So we're going to jump into the Grand Prix circuit first, but before we turn any laps in a car, we're going to do a bit of a track walk. We're going to look around, check out some sights, see what the track looks like, and then we'll jump into some racing action. Okay, so don't be alarmed, we're not in Richard Burns Rally, we're actually on one of the entrance roads to the circuit, so we thought, well, what better way to start our track tour than to work our way into the centre of the circuit and have a good look around while we're doing it. So let's just have a wander down this road here, and see what sights we can see on the way in. We've got some kind of vineyard over to our right there, so it looks like we're in quite a rural area of France. Carry on with this little access road. We've got some traditional looking buildings on the right hand side over there. Plenty of trees in the, in the paddock area. Getting closer to the paddock now. Plenty more vineyards to the right. Okay, so here we go. A couple of outbuildings over this way. Someone's rather nice motorhome just casually parked. And then right, here we go. So we turn left here into the start of the paddock here. Various people milling around, enjoying themselves in the sights in the paddock here. What have we got over here? There's the podium up on the side there, as you can see, up on the side of the main pit building, which is quite a nice looking pit building actually. I quite like that. What's this here? I'm not very good with French, but it looks like it's some kind of food vendor right next to the toilets, which is handy. Can we go back through this way to the rest of the paddock? We've got another shop looking building there. All the trucks are all lined up. We need to unload their various race cars, etc. Bunch of people in the paddock here, that's for sure. Looks like we've got almost a dummy grid layout there. And then we'll just sneak through here, shall we? This is onto pit lane. And I've left 3 cars sitting there, more on that later. So here we go, this is pit lane. Quite a nice looking observing area at the top there. Open air part to have a good view over the start finish line. Race control obviously up here in the tower, watching over the whole circuit. Got a good view from up here. A French flag on the floor down there. It's presumably for where winners and podium people park their cars, I suppose, because the podium's right there. It's a nice touch. Right. Let's go over this way because I want to have a look to see what else is down this way. There's another road which takes us off over here. So that's the main paddock for the Grand Prix side of things, the Grand Prix circuit. Some random people standing around, and over here we have another paddock-looking thing over here. So all I can recognise on there is Renault, so must be something to do with them maybe. With a couple of various buildings, some marquees, some tents, awnings. So this is all I can assume is the exterior paddock area for one of the other circuits. More toilets necessary. We got, looks like a tunnel, or a couple of tunnels going underneath the track here, which is quite cool. We'll go under here. It's a bit tight. Breathe in. Right, that's the pedestrian tunnel obviously, because you've got steps on the end. You never get one of those Arctics up there. Nice little sign there. If only I knew what most of that meant. Maybe you can translate for me. There's definitely formula on there, and yeah, some other measurements and so on, but not even going to guess at that. So we've got some kind of airport looking buildings here with the glass fronting on them. Looks like the old paddock potentially before they built the new one on the other side over there. So a little bit more rustic looking. Another pit lane here as well, which would probably be for one of the other circuits. Some classic shell signage on the top of the pits here, which looks really cool. Very vintage. Looks like they've not done much with that. Nice Dunlop Bridge, we'll go over that, shall we? Just be a spectator for the moment. Up and over the bridge. There we go. No entrance, sorry. We're coming through anyway. Right, another building on the side. So this is a glass building, very nice indeed. Let's go wander over here, see what we can find. Plenty to see around the Nogaro circuit, as you can tell. There's lots going on. This is the Aero Club at Nogaro, so we've got little Cessna-ish type planes lined up here with a helicopter as well. What have we got over here? Ah, this is probably more the main entrance to the circuit, potentially. Various shops. This is so much around. A Renault dealership there. Very good. Crash your car on track, you can go and buy a new one from there. Some industrial units on that side. Some more planes stored over here on these taxi areas and these hangars. We have a runway right here. The Aero Club. And then we're on the actual circuit here, but we'll jump into that as we go. But yeah, plenty to see around the circuit. Got a looks like a position board there, which we do. Very nice. But yeah, nicely detailed, lots going on. Plenty to see if you're not driving around. There's a pit lane entrance right here. And then down pit lane. So, I guess now we've got to jump on track in a car and drive it for ourselves. Okay, so here we are in pit lane at Nogaro Grand Prix circuit. We're in the Formula 3 car, so let's fire it up. We're going to take you through the full experience of trying the circuit for the first time. So we'll get out of pit lane here and we'll feel our way around gently so we know where we're going. Because this is a new circuit to me as well. So we'll make it nice and easy to kind of figure out where we're going here. So a couple of right hand corners straight out of the pit lane. So what have we got here? We've got quite a long, very long looking right hand corner. Go straight into a left, which looks like it's another double backed hairpin, which it is. And this looks like a quick right hand leading onto the back straight here. Now, those eagle-eyed observers from earlier on who noticed that we had 0 meters of circuit length will also notice that the track map on the left hand side there isn't quite working correctly. So for example, if I come around this right hand corner here, I'm currently going through pit lane and currently crashing through the pit boxes by the looks of things, so that's not quite right. However, we are driving this first time out. It's only been released for a couple of hours or so, so I'm sure the guys at Sector 3 Studios will have rectified that issue before long, and probably even before you've viewed this video, so that's not a problem at all. It doesn't distract from the driving. So first impressions, the circuit looks very nice. There's plenty going on around the outside of the circuit. Got a quick chicane to finish the lap as we go over the start-finish line. First corner, it's pretty quick. And we're back to where we started from the pit lane, so let's try and pick our speed up a little bit as we go. This is our first of our 2 hairpins, I think, so keep it nice and tight through there, and straight on the brakes again. Following left-hand hairpin, feed the power in, and off we go down the back straight. Give a chance to have a look around a little bit. But yeah, it looks pretty good. It's built on an airfield, well, it's got an airfield near it, so it's quite flat. Not a huge amount of elevation change going on the circuit. But that doesn't mean it's not challenging. I like the way the corners do seem to flow quite nicely into each other. We're a big fan of circuit flow here at Sim Racing Bible, one that has a good rhythm to it. It's always good in our books, so so far so good. I do like the Dunlop Bridge going over the top there. It's very Le Mans-ish or Tsukuba-ish, depending on how you want to look at it. Just trying to figure out just how quickly you can take this final corner. Now obviously we're in quite a downforce inspired car with a Formula 3 car here, so we are going to be taking some of these corners quite quickly. once we're up to full speed, obviously. But there's a reason why we're in the Formula 3 car at Nogaro. So just to give a bit of background, the Nogaro circuit isn't really one that you probably will be familiar with, partly because it's not featured very heavily in high-end motorsport events. Now, it has had high-end motorsport in the past, and the outright record around here is actually set by a Formula 3000 car. That's how far back that was set, because Formula 3000 is not really a thing anymore, but it was actually set by the one and only Alex Zanardi, so that's pretty awesome that he still holds the lap record around here. But they also run more domestic championships, like the French GT Championships, French Formula 3, and the Formula 3 lap record around here was by Romain Grosjean, so that's pretty cool to have his name on the leaderboard as well. So we're going to channel some of our inner Romain driving this Formula 3 car. But now we're picking up the pace a little bit more around the circuit, kind of getting used to some of the lines and how the corners come up. It's feeling pretty good to drive so far. I do quite like this quick, I wouldn't really call it a chicane, but it's a right left before the start-finish line. Very wide on this part of the track. Just how quick can we take this first corner? We wouldn't want to go much quicker than that because the next one comes up really quite fast, so the circuit width actually might be quite good for racing side of things, and we'll obviously do a race as well just to see how it behaves with other cars on track and if you can actually have a good battle around here, so we'll try that later on as well. Nice purple sector in sector 1 there, we're picking up our pace as we go. About the 100-metre board, get the front end tucked in. Got up quite close to the wall on the outside there, so you don't want to be pushing on too much through the exit of the hairpin at the end of the back straight. Just a slight feather of the top through there, probably need a bit more than that, it's a bit too quick. Now this corner here, we've got to keep it nice and tight so you get a good exit out of there, which is quite nice. 50 board on the left. Fourth gear maybe through there. But the circuit itself is quite nice. I mean, this is, you know, as I said, the first real time I've driven this circuit. I've not driven it before in other sims. I do think it's probably out there for the original rFactor, which would probably have had a version of Nogaro, I think I remember seeing. But it's not one that I've tried personally. But that's one of the things I love about RaceRoom, is that they do bring out tracks which don't really fit the bill of, you know, the normal tracks that you find in sim racing. There's a little bit of variety in there, something different, which is really good. So I like that they do that kind of thing. I know a lot of people will probably be like, well, what's the point? I never want to go and race there, but it gives us an opportunity to drive something which is maybe not something we would have tried in the first place, and that's what I really love about sim racing, is the opportunity to learn new circuits and to have fun doing so. So, yeah, well done to the guys at Sector 3 for bringing us another track which we may not have had much to do with in the past. So, and I'm glad they did, because it actually feels like a really nice track to drive, and I look forward to doing some more around here in the future, I'm sure. Slowly picking up the pace. Let's see how quickly we can go now. Let's really push the envelope through turn 1. Little bit of a lift through turn 3 because we can't take that one flat. Going to do a later apex into this right-hand hairpin. Pick up the power slowly. Twitch your oversteer on the exit. Get it tucked in on the inside there. On the power as we try and carry the speed down the back straight. It is odd seeing the car just in the middle of nowhere on the track and up on the side there. And brake probably just about the 100, maybe a bit before. Okay, nice apex there. Pick up the power. foot lift just to make sure we make it around that corner. Braking with a 50-meter board, probably a bit late. But we'll cut back for the apex on the second part of that corner. Keep the power hard down. It's just the two last corners to negotiate. There we go, so that's a relatively hot lap of Nogaro Grand Prix circuit. Quite fittingly, it's our new personal best for the session, so that's pretty cool. Do like that. We'll come back to that and do a race around here as well. But let's try out some of the other variations and see what they're like to drive as well. Okay, so here we are. We're on the Corpen circuit, which is one of the shorter layouts for Nogaro, and it essentially utilises the first half of the lap. We're in the Mercedes-AMG GT4, which is another new piece of content which has been released just recently for RaceRoom, and quite frankly is one of the best in class in GT4. So, as with the Grand Prix circuit, we have the same opening part of the lap where we have these double backing tight hairpins, and as we apply the power onto the back straight around this right hand corner, we get a nice view of a big black tyre wall in front of us. We have to slam on the anchors and then cut through the middle of the track here, and then we end up back on the main straights, and that's the whole lap. So quite a short lap, but it's probably going to be best suited for some of the slower cars in RaceRoom, partly because you are going to be spending an awful lot of your time in the corners anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much about top speed or anything like that. These hairpins do drag on for what seems like forever, but once you get them right, it's all good. So probably the main overtaking point is going to be down into this final hairpin here. Now these short circuits probably don't get used anywhere near as much as the main circuits, if you like, which sometimes is a shame because you can have some really good races on these shorter circuits as well. Probably not too well suited for the GT4s, however this AMG is actually going around here quite nicely indeed, so maybe you can have a good race around here in the GT cars. Not a bad little layout. I mean, it's pretty much exactly the same as the Grand Prix, but just cutting it in half, so feels pretty good to drive. Obviously this final hairpin is a little bit makeshift, with no curb on the inside. You just have to clip the grass instead. But yeah, not too bad at all. Not too bad at all to drive. Except you can still make a mess of it. Okay, so what about the third of the three variations of Nogaro? What's that like to drive? Okay, so this time we're on the club circuit and we are in the mighty NSU TTS. Now this is the other half of the circuit essentially from what we just drove in the Mercedes. So we cut off the last corner there and we cut back through to the end of the main straight. So this leaves us with the tight and twisty little section at the end of the lap, which, to be honest, in my opinion, is probably my favourite part of the lap actually. The nicer sequence of corners. And the track map for this particular version is even more messed up. It's just a big black square. But we're in the NSU because we thought, being a shorter circuit, it might suit this type of car better, and I can see that this could be a really good venue for some NSU action online. It really suits this type of car, I think. So obviously pit lane's in a different position because normally here would be at the end of the, well, just after this section here, it would be over there somewhere. So we're in a different pit lane altogether. Still trying to gauge just how quickly I can go through some of those corners there. And in the NSU, you're not actually changing gear an awful lot around here, you're leaving in second mostly. do its thing in the power band. But quite a nice little circuit layout actually. But anything in the NSU is good fun to drive, isn't it? Missed the apex by a mile, but we're okay. We got away with it. So yeah, quite a fun little circuit actually. And obviously you have to brake a little bit more for the last corner, partly because you haven't got the downforce as we did in the F3 car, but you also have to make sure you're going right afterwards. Again, we're going purple, so we're picking up speed as we go. Except we've shifted into neutral. Didn't like that, did it? But quite a fun little track. And I'm sure with some online battles in the NSU and similar cars, it could be a lot of fun to race on. Speaking of racing, should we try one? Okay, so we're back on the Grand Prix circuit and we're in something a little bit mad. We're in a GT1 Celine S7R and we're going to do a quick 5-lap race of Nogaro Grand Prix. There's a reason for being in this car, as I actually for once get a reasonable good start. The cone in the middle of the track there already. So the reason we're in the GT1 category is because the GT1 Championship did actually visit Nogaro back in the day. So I thought, well, let's give it a try and see what they like to drive around here. These cars are incredibly quick, so it'll be interesting to see just how they handle some of the tight confines around the Nogaro circuit. Huge GTR in front of me, blocking the road. Getting pushed off. Right, now the purpose of this as well is to find out what it's like to drive in a racing situation around here. So, getting locked out going into the hairpin at the end of the straight here. Come on GTR, get on with it. I don't want to make it 3 wide. These are big cars we've been driving around here. Tipping a tyre in the gravel. Come on, you two, sort yourselves out. Blocking the way. Hey! Overtaken by Koenigsegg. Okay, let's try and make some progress now. Things will settle down a little bit, so we can make a move into turn 1 down here. Forced him out wide, but he still held the position. Now we're on the outside. I feel like you're constantly turning in this first section of the lap. Bit of an effort to manhandle this thing around here. The steering's really heavy in the Celine. Let's try and catch the toe down the back straight as we all cut across the track on the track map. Oh, he's brake testing me into there. I thought he was braking fully. Turns out he wasn't. We'll be ready for that next time round. Lock brake. Wide. Trying to catch back up again there. Big slide out of there. It's holding everyone up behind us now. Right, got some work to do. Wheel on the dirt, picking up the dust. Seems to be quicker than the AI into this first section of the lap. Second gear is probably not the one. Sorry, first gear, sorry. even a second. The laps are quickly ticking by. We're already on lap 3. We've got 2 to go. I want to try and get this going exactly if we can. There we go. Tap on the brakes. It's a long way back. I saw the dive bomb coming. Got the move done somehow. Alright, let's go get those GTRs. Just moving too wide on the exit. Now we have no grip. Got to clean those tyres off again now. That's not the breaking point for the final corner, and the Koenigsegg's got us again. All that hard work to do once more. Almost backing into turn 1 that time. Oh, hello. Oh, we've got an accident ahead of us, that's why he slammed the brakes on. A bit of an overreaction, but AI were having a bit too much of a hard race in front of us. So we're up to 11th now, the ultimate lap. We can make the top 10. I do like this section of the lap. Good rhythm to it. Now, don't be too enthusiastic on the old power through here, Phil. We're going to try and keep it on track this time. It's better. Too deep into that. Steering so heavy. Yeah, overall impressions of the track quite good actually. I reckon you can have a decent race around here if you can actually keep the car on track. Cranked over into that. Fishtailing out of the hairpin, trying to be more careful on the throttle. Right. Things are warming up. Still in 11th. My final lap. We gotta keep pushing because you never know what the AI might do ahead of us. There might be an incident somewhere. A late turn in from that corner seems to help. I'm not going to make a top 10 on this occasion, but nevertheless, it's been quite a fun little race. There we go, up and over the line. In 11th place. Well, GT1 cars can race around here, so I'm pretty sure most things will race around here no problem as well. So, yeah, good fun. So, that's been our review of the Nogaro circuit. Looks-wise, visuals are very, very good. You know, the RaceRoom track guys are doing a good job with the models of late. Things are looking very nice indeed, nicely textured. Very busy and active and lively on the track side as well. In terms of how it drives, yeah, it drives well. I mean, there's some slower sections, there's some quicker sections. There's a little bit of a mixture of corners out here. And racing-wise, yeah, you can have a race around here, even with these massive GT1 monsters. So overall, quite a good track, a nice addition to the RaceRoom service, and definitely worth picking up, I think, and adding to your collection if you haven't got it already. So that's our review of Nogaro circuit in RaceRoom. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please do consider giving us a thumbs up on the like button below. It really helps the video get out there and more people will be able to see it. And also, if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to the channel. It's free to do. That means you don't get to miss out on any of the new videos which we post in the very near future. And also hit the notification bell as well, so you get notified of when those new videos drop, so you get to see them first. But we really appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.